everyone, I am Chris.
And I'm Christine, and we do a podcast about life, love, and hot topics. We're family friendly.
Yeah, well, mostly.
And you can catch us every week.
So subscribe to the Chris and Christine Show on your favorite streaming service.
And buckle up, Buttercup, because you're in for some fun.
Some fun? Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, decorating for the season-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 4th of December, 2020. Well, Kristy, it's Friday.
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm having some crises of confidence just in my, for whatever reason, I guess this extended periods of being at home and working at home and missing my good friends are starting to get to me a little bit. And we're about to go into another lockdown here in Southern California, which I feel is very needed, unfortunately. But this year has just been rough. For me, but for a lot of people, it's been really an awful year, and I just feel sad about that.
Yeah.
So I know that's not very optimistic, but that's just where I'm at. You know, I just feel sad.
It's not that it's not optimistic to acknowledge where you're feeling and where your head's at. I think the not optimistic part would be to say, all right, so I'm going to just stay here and sit on the couch and do nothing and eat bonbons for the rest of my life. Although that could be a good solution for a day or two. It has been a really challenging time. And as I've been thinking about this upcoming lockdown that is approaching Southern California, I've come to realize that it actually has very little effect for my family.
Me too.
Because we're already locked down, right?
No,
like nothing's going to change.
That is exactly the funny part, is that actually it doesn't really change anything, but somehow it feels darker.
Okay.
Maybe just
right.
It just feels darker. I just wish that we could come together as a country, as a state, and just really batten the hatches down, as we were talking about yesterday with your wind event. But I think if we just really did this, we could knock this thing down, and it wouldn't take too long, but we all have this exhausted feeling.
Well, there's the ifs and the shoulds, and the ifs and the shoulds aren't the is, and the is are that we do control our own emotions, our own homes, our own family life. We do control the decisions we make, and trying not to feel the weight of all of the other decisions, I think, is something that's really important right now. It's really important to maintain optimism through the practice of knowing what it is you are in charge of and knowing what it is, the difference you can make. And we talk about that, like, gratitude guides your attitude and all of our, 5 tips on maintaining optimism. But I think that more important now than ever is to look for the people who are doing good, surround yourself by those. And if you really are feeling dark, reach out to a friend, know you're not alone, because this is a really difficult time. And you and I are kind of the yin and yang of emotions. It's funny because there's days where I am up and you are down, or days where I am down and you are up. And today happens to be, I'm sunshiny, bright Summers as opposed to my Winters McNo personality. And I think that, together as friends, as collaborators, it's my job to lift you up, and it's your job to reach out and say that you need a little support. And I think the world probably has a lot of people who are going through that right now. So, well, let me be clear, Kristy, you're amazing. I love you. I'm so grateful for the work we do together. And I know the work we do together matters because we are seeing just unbelievable amounts of people becoming emissaries on the Optimist Daily this month. It's just every morning I look at my reports from our customer service lead, Maureen, and I got to tell you guys, I'm really moved and I'm really touched by all of you who are signing up to become emissaries and supporting this mission of positive solution-based mindsets. We have this huge lofty goal of reaching 100 million people every day with a positive solutions-based mindset. And we are not there yet, but this momentum that I'm feeling and watching in our data is encouraging that we are on our way. So, Kristy, just so you know, the work you do does good.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad. And it's a joy to do this with you, with Amelia, with all the rest of the team, and with our readers and our listeners and everybody who we touch and who touches us back. So,
well, yeah, I was going to say, is there somebody else who perhaps you can talk about today who has a positive touch and a positive effect?
Yeah, so the headline that really just stood out to me, and it is our lead story today, it's the indigenous leader from Ecuador who saves 500,000 acres from oil extraction. And it's a story of solidarity. It's a story of a person and a group of people coming together and standing up for what is right and what they believe in. And it talks about a Goldman Environmental Prize winner from this year, which is the Goldman Environmental Prize is an annual award that recognizes grassroots activism across 6 geographical regions around the globe. It's been giving this award every year since 1989. And among this year's prize winners is Namonte Nikimo, who is an indigenous leader from the Ecuadorian Amazon, who last year made headlines because she was successful in protecting 500,000 acres of native land from oil extraction that had been put onto the auction block by the Ecuadorian government. And this was basically native land where she and her fellow Waorani indigenous group, who it's a Amazonian indigenous group in the Ecuadorian Amazon. And the Ecuadorian government put up millions of acres of their territory up for sale. Right. There were 16 new oil concessions on auction that covered 7 million acres of the Amazon forest for oil extraction. And Ms. Nikimo launched a digital campaign called Our Rainforest is Not for Sale, which gathered almost 400,000 signatures from around the world that opposed this auction. And they also took the Ecuadorian government to court over this. And in April 2019, judges ruled in favor of the Waorani protecting 500,000 acres from oil extraction. I think we wrote about that actually on the Optimist Daily.
When it first happened, we did. Yeah.
So, and also the judgment requires the government to ensure free, prior, informed consent before they put any other land on auction in the future. This victory set a legal precedent for indigenous rights in Ecuador, and it'll have repercussions around the world. It's these kinds of collective actions, this grassroots organizing, which it's not just about the local, it's also about global. It has inspirational effects around the world. I like how the world is now shifting to celebrating the indigenous rights in ways that in most of the last, 1,000 years of history have been squashed. And we have to look to our indigenous leaders for the wisdom, and there's deep wisdom in these people's history and their knowledge. And I love that they're becoming more active voices on the world stage, like Miss Nikimo and the Waorani. And this prize, what she says is that this prize will hopefully give us and our fight more visibility and create consciousness that we're acting for the good of the planet. And that holistic view is something that I find very inspirational. And so I just wanted to celebrate Miss Nikimo and the Waorani and this legal victory and the fact that they won the Goldman Environmental Prize this year.
Yeah, once again, this is an extraordinary story of someone whose voice needed to be heard and a population that needed to be heard. And the protection of our planet isn't in the hands of just one person. It's in the hands of all of us. So I love this story. It brought chills to me when I saw it as the headline, just as a reminder of the, really the power of voice and action. Mm-hmm. And I think I have a similar topic that I want to talk about that is about protection. Oh, Cleo's going to yell at us.
Hi, Cleo.
Hi, Cleo. Everybody say hi to Cleo. Okay. Okay, so the story that I picked is also about protecting our environment, and it is a innovative measure to solving some of the problems that we have talked about with recycling. So the headline reads, new material can pull precious metals such as lithium from wastewater, from the environment section of the Optimist Daily. Basically, wastewater, industrial wastewater, is often polluted with heavy metals like copper and other elements that could actually be of use. But just like other recycling issues, it's the combination of things that make it difficult to recycle them. Basically, like when we talk about a tennis shoe being combined with a bunch of different glues, it's very difficult to recycle. Think about wastewater similarly. Today's wastewater cleaning process just pulls out everything, basically nutrients, essential minerals, and then leaves behind just a toxic sludge that then has to be disposed of. Good thing is, there's a solution in the works. A new technology has come out that can target and trap only the copper ions in wastewater, opening the door to a new way to source important metals sustainably. This comes from the Department of Energy's Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, go Bears, and basically it works like a crystal sponge. So what this sponge does is that it attracts the copper ions and attracts the heavy metal so that it can be extracted, sticking to the pores of basically the copper and the sponge together. A new journal article, the authors state that the sponge material called Zios, and I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try, zinc imidazole salicyladoxamine, there we go, can be used to extract copper in the acidic water coming from copper mines. Now, they started by targeting copper, but the material is actually designed to capture other heavy metals, such as, and Kristy, this will make you and your EV battery mission very excited, lithium, which is the key material for making batteries in electric cars. And if we could begin to effectively recycle heavy metals from batteries, the EV economy would have less of a negative footprint in their end of life use. So I am pretty excited about this. Obviously, it is an emergent technology. There's a long road ahead. But if you are working for the, Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, and if you are working with Zios, thank you for what you're doing and thank you for your innovations. I am very grateful that you are charting a new path and helping us clean up wastewater.
And I think this is an interesting one because it is looking at how can we reclaim some of the toxic materials that have just been polluting our water streams, right? But actually, by having these kind of targeted solutions, it's an innovative thing that once it gets scaled up, it might actually really be a game changer with removing heavy metals and different kinds. This started with copper, I think probably because copper is the most valuable of those heavy metals. It's easy to reuse, but pulling out lithium, other heavy metals from our wastewater streams can really help to purify the water, but also recapture those for reuse. And that's when we start having that circular economy kind of mindset. It'll change how we treat waste. I like how they describe this. It's like a crystal sponge. It sort of absorbs things in that way. And it just attracts those ions from the wastewater. So anyway, great story. I love this. So what else is on the Optimist Daily today, Summers?
Well, there are 5 superfoods that you can use to protect your lungs this winter, which I think is particularly important both with COVID as well as with some of the climate effects that are happening, including the new wildfires in Southern California.
That includes broccoli.
It includes broccoli, carrots, greens, fruits, berries, the good stuff. A campus adopts nature-inspired design as therapy for children with autism. I love this story. I am a huge autism advocate, and I think this is a beautiful story. A powerful graphic novel was created entirely by homeless people. It's called The Book of Homelessness, and it's beautiful, great story. Experimental study finds CBD alone doesn't impair driving ability. We've talked a lot about cannabinoids and the advent of the marijuana medical usage, and I think it's very valuable that CBD and the effects have been extracted so that there is no narcotic reaction. U.S. women's national soccer team reaches equal workers' rights agreement. They have been leaders in that conversation, and it's amazing. There is a hiking boot made from ocean plastic and recycled rubber. And Kristy, this picture just makes me want to go hiking immediately and buy the boot. It's from a company called Allison Whittles. And Amelia, we should get them on the podcast so we can tell them we're fangirls of their stock photography.
Yes.
Affordable anti-venom could be easily self-administered on the spot. Snake bites are dangerous. Oh, and Kristy, what's that last story?
So Hyundai is announcing an EV-only production platform. They're going to be moving to all electric vehicles in 2021. That's really exciting. They're just going all in on electric vehicles. Good for you, Hyundai.
Now we just need to find out the company that is tasked with recycling all of those batteries. And that is the opportunity of a lifetime for creating next positive economic upswing from this whole effort. So I am so excited by everything on the Optimist Daily. And I know that it's a tough time out there in this world. And Kristy, thank you for being transparent and vulnerable and sharing with our listeners that you're kind of in the lows right now. But we are all going to get through this together. And we are a community. And if you're a listener to the Optimist Daily, just share something good with somebody else. Let's lift one another up right now.
I like that. And thank you again, Summers, and thank you everybody for listening to the Optimist Daily Update today and always. We promise to continue to share these positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and to offer you the information you need most, and we all need most, to chart new paths for all of us.
Everybody, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, but I'll keep saying it. Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. And for just $5 a month, or $15 or $50, support reader-funded independent journalism. Be part of the solution-changing consciousness in addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Really, Cleo?